Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Feargivness frequency. I'm Julie Schindler. I'm the founder and universal co-creator of the Feargivness frequency, and it's been a little while, so I wanted to show my face and get back to in connection with the collective in this now moment. And this year of 2025 has been just out of this world. And I don't know about the rest of you, but when I did the planning and I kind of took that day to myself back in November and December of really mapping out what 2025 was going to be, putting my manifestations and visualizations and intentions and doing it all, right? I was just supercharged for 2025 to happen. And as we got into the month of January, there was more and more days of rest. There was a ton of energy coming through the Schumann resonance chart. There was new energy and release energy, and there was all this integration that needed to be happening. And you just had to surrender. You had to surrender to go within, to kind of cocoon yourself and just allow whatever needed to happen, and being in service and surrender to the divine Father and Mother God. The journey that it can take you on when you just let it all go is pretty remarkable, and miracles upon miracles upon miracles continue to stack up in our lives when we do that. And that's what January asked of me. It asked me to cocoon, to receive the answers and ask the questions and receive the answers of what I needed from within. And no one else could help me with that. There are certain areas that give you clarity or confirmation, and those are beautiful to have on this journey. But really, when it comes down to trusting the answers you receive from within and kind of blocking out all the noise, is what this journey took us on over the last few months. And I really didn't know when I would be back, and it was today where I was told that I had enough. If you followed the Feargivness frequency, and the divine messages that come through, you get a lot of breadcrumbs. And I think our whole ascension or spiritual journey is a lot of breadcrumbs. And you gather up those breadcrumbs and you have a little bit of remembrance, and it sparks a color, and it takes you down a path of learning, and you just you hold all these breadcrumbs with you. And when you have enough breadcrumbs for specific remembrance, then you build this toast. You build a piece of toast. And with this piece of toast, it is a link, a puzzle piece to the next step. And you might have a ton of different toasts going on that you're kind of putting your breadcrumbs in. And then you get enough pieces of toast that it gives you this loaf of bread. And when you receive a loaf of bread and you've gathered enough information and you've gone through the learning and the teachings of this loaf of bread to build this loaf, then you get to share it. So it's kind of like you've gathered it all, you put it all back together, you baked this bread, and now you get to share it with the world. And there's a lot of bread being baked right now from what started in August of 2024 with the Lionsgate portal. And then I don't know about you or anyone else in the collective, the reason I share my story and the reason I share the Feargivness frequency so freely and openly with you is maybe there's someone else going out there going through the same thing that I'm going through. And when I'm asked to put this together in like a book or a color book to help others, it's very difficult because I am still going through it. I'm still cleaning up my trash can of traumas and insecurities. I'm still healing, going through the healing process. And I'm stacking up these miracles as I go. And it's very difficult to be like, well, this is how you do it, when I don't even know if I have it right. So this journey of forgiveness and the frequency of forgiveness is a healing frequency. It's a holistic healing frequency that uses color as your guide. It taps into the vibrations and frequencies of color and how color can help us heal inside, outside, upside, and down when we tap in. And whether that is the colors we wear, meditating on color, surrounding ourselves with color, painting, artistry, creativity, food, all areas of our life that change when we tap into our intuitive channel. We get the opportunity to do the same using color and healing. And the forgiveness frequency uses self-love, self-forgiveness, self-acceptance, gratitude, and self-love. And as we tap into all of those frequencies, we get to fill our forgiveness frequency, our infinity loop, our soul blueprint. We get to put all that in, all the teachings, all the breadcrumbs, all the toast, and all the bread that we are baking, and we bake it within. We sit in the center, just like I am now. We sit in the center of the forgiveness frequency, and we tap into our intuitive channel. We'll utilize our higher self, our connection with the divine Father, Mother, God, source energy, however it comes through for you, but it allows us to guide us on this journey home. And we're all walking each other home in one way or another. When I tap into, I am a divine celestial channel and pillar of light. And so the messages that I receive from the Akashic Records and my powwows with the divine Father, Mother, God is truly through source energy. And that whether that's coming through my powwows with the divine Father, Mother, God, or I'm receiving that information there and moving it into the Akashic Records to receive and to dig a little bit more in it. It's working with guides and angels and frequencies and celestial beings of light that are bringing this information here into the now. And I've had a very difficult time putting words to what I am. And putting a label on it is just not really something that I've found, because every time I find a label or one that fits society, something changes and expands and illuminates even more light. So I get to be this pillar of light, and I get to turn my pillar of light on and do a lot of celestial, cosmic, universal work with the divine Father, Mother, God, and the beings of light. And as a Divine Mother representative, I get to really dive deep into the core of the earth and do a lot of planetary healing and harmonization. Those are just a few little things. It's multi-dimensional. Some days I'm traveling. Some days I'm a soul mirror for others. Some days I get to work solely with children. Other days I'm harmonizing large events that are happening in the world or doing planetary work. Wherever I'm needed in surrender and service, I go. The forgiveness frequency was gifted to me in the darkest times of my life, and I was in palliative care. And you were seeing me today without a neck brace. And that I was told that I could do this without a neck brace. I have my trusted pillow to prop pillow to prop me up if needed, but I was given that I would have a voice to and the strength to be able to deliver the messages that are flowing in and through the forgiveness frequency. And this is probably the most words and energy that I put towards anything in the last few months, because it was a time to sit within the center, to sit within the everythingness, the 0 point, that heart center, and have this full connection and just receive messages, receive pieces of toast and breadcrumbs, and build the toast and bake the bread. It was also a time of reflection and gratitude, and really focusing on and walking back through how far we've come since this journey started in 2020. And when we sat in a wheelchair with a neck brace in a doctor's office, and we were placed on end-of-life care, and we knew that there was no succession plan off of it, but to do it or die trying. And having these pops of color continue to show up in our life has given us the blueprint to follow those breadcrumbs, to live in service and surrender and trust and full faith that the divine is taking care of me, because the divine saved my life. And this connection to it saved my life and has brought me on this journey of unimaginable gifts to be received and to be experiences to have and to hold and to hopefully light another path for them and to assist you on your path. I am just here to hold space for you while you go on your own healing journey. And if you are drawn to the Feargivness frequency or utilizing color, if you live horizontally, if you know someone who lives horizontally, who has a hard time getting out of bed, who has had not only physical trauma, but emotional trauma that they are still carrying in their trash can and are ready to upcycle it, you are in the right place. So some of the, I'm just going to tap in and see what information is wanting to come through. I receive most of my information comes through quantum light language. So it bypasses all of the physicalness of the body and goes straight to the quantum field. It brings it in a clear cognizance. There's visualizations, there's audio, there's different clairs that come through to bring the message through. As we progress forward, frequency will be our new currency. Our vibration and frequency that we hold will be the currency. So imagine you are raising your vibration, you're healing, you're doing the work, you are changing your subconscious mind, you're surrounding yourself with good vibrations, you're cleansing, you're clearing, you are doing it, you're doing all the work. And you're raising your vibration in everything that you do. And that raises the vibration of everyone around you. The biggest message that's coming through is that there are a handful of very chosen few who are the energy banks for the collective as currency changes from our currency, that energy and frequency is our currency. And that, could you imagine that everyone, your bank account was kind of shown with light, how lit you are, how your wealth, your what we considered wealth now, your abundance, it is all coming through the light that you portray out there into the world, the light that you radiate from. That is what I'm shown will be when our frequency becomes our currency, our energy becomes currency, vibration becomes currency, that there's no hiding your vibration anymore, and that you will be illuminated. That's why, I have full body chills. In January, with the intentions that were set, what I was given within the Feargivness frequency was to embrace, embody, expand, elevate, and illuminate. And it was just this beautiful ease, and then ended with this I. And it was to embrace and embody your higher self, embody the frequency and the vibration, to expand that with learning, with just sitting still, being still, and allowing your light to flow, ebb and flow. And it was this receivership reciprocity, where you're flowing in and out of this energy. What you're flowing out, you're receiving tenfold. And there's this amplification that expanded you. And then in this expansion, you elevated and almost levitated. And then you illuminated your light. And over the course of the last 6 weeks, 7 weeks of this year, that is what has been occurring, is that there's this beautiful embracement in January, embracing the energies, and then allowing us to embody the energies, embody the frequencies. And then we moved into expanding that. And that may be expanding in learning, it may be expanding physically. You may have found since March of 2023 that you have gained weight or density within the body. That is a big sign that you're an energy bank for what is to come. There has been, and it's, when we do the work, we know the body keeps score, that we lose weight, we lose trauma weight. And for many that I'm connecting with in the collective that are going through this process, is that you've done that work and you got to a point where there wasn't any more to lose. And now you're ready to expand. And it's hard because a lot of that weight that you lost in trauma has come back. And it's not come back because there's nothing you can do to get rid of it. It's just there. What if you are an energy bank for what is to come? What if you're that illumination of light, that pillar of light, that you, when that turns on, that you have trillions and gazillions of what we would say dollars, but you have that in a frequency and a currency, because there are beings of light all over the world that are holding this pillar of light for the collective, for the divine Father, Mother, God, who are so grounded to the core of the earth, and their light expands around the earth in these rainbow halos, and it expands up into the universal fields, the cosmic fields, and galactical. And you have this ability to activate people to, when they're in your light, they walk away just filled with light. What if you are one of those energy banks, one of those energy pillars that are ready to turn on? What we're being asked for those who are resonating with this, and if it doesn't resonate with you, flow through it. There are so many big messages that are like literally I'm asking them to slow down and pile, to stand in line, so we can get these each individually given with the frequency. And that's what it is. That's what I've been asked to do, is harmonize my frequency and just sit and like pulsate it out. Just flow this energy out into the universal fields, cosmic fields, the planetary fields, the collective. And then I can feel when it comes back to me what is going on out there, where more harmonization may be needed. But what if you are that pillar, that bank, and that now that you've gained this density or you've gained this weight and your body has reshaped itself again, and in this country, where around the world, weight is a sign of wealth, but in this country it's not. And when those who are going through this process, you are learning that whatever belief systems you had for this, you're working and you're transmuting and alchemizing and transcending, allowing yourself to embrace the gift that you've been given to be this energy bank, to hold this gazillion dollars of frequency, of currency of frequency, voltages of frequency, vibrations, hertz of frequency. You are that, and that when you get to turn on, others will be flocking to you to raise their own vibrations. And there's nothing that you're giving. They come within your field. They retain the knowledge and the energy and the frequency that you have. Whatever that gift is for you, you are going to be a leader to share that. You are a pillar of light to sit, even if you say nothing, it's just to sit within your energy, raises theirs. And you are endless. You have an endless amount of frequency as these energy banks, is what I'm shown. We're just being asked, you are being asked to get ready, to transmute whatever last bits of gestational trauma, ancestral trauma, upcycling your own trash can of your going back to your inner child at every stage that you felt inadequate within your own physical body. Let it go. Heal it. Self-love, self-forgiveness, self-acceptance. Whatever that process is for you, and if you need assistance within the Feargivness frequency, there's a ton of ways to get down to the down and dirty of what's left. And this is really just clearing out the debris. You've done the work. You've done a lot of the past healing is done. Trauma, any connections, cords, contracts are cut, is what I'm seeing. These are just the last debris of strings that are attached to you for this, that you don't realize how powerful you are and what a gift that you are giving and bringing forth, being this energy bank and pillar of light for the shift that will be up and coming. As I tap in and I feel the energy flowing out and these pulsating, and what is coming back to me as the collective message is the amplification. And what is so powerful about this amplification season that we are in right now, and this shows me this amplification will be heightened through the next few weeks, through the eclipse season, the spring equinox, and then it will be the summer solstice, and then it's really kind of a full loop until the eight gateways and passageways. We also begin the new year starts in March, so there's a lot of I don't do a ton with astrology, but lately I've been given some of the moon phases are going to be really important as we go through the next 3 months. So as we step further into the energy of this amplification, every thought, action, word, unspoken word, or inaction taken is an amplification. So it's very important to really work with your subconscious mind and conscious mind on the thoughts become your reality, and your thoughts of love are amplified, just exuded. When you reach that frequency, it's kind of like when you do a sound chamber and you reach that note and it just kind of flows out of you. The same thing is happening with this amplification. When you reach your frequency, when I reach the Feargivness frequency, it's like waves and waves and waves and ripples, and just continues and flows. This whole tortal field of energy that is going out and coming back. It's a boomerang. And these amplifications, when you reach your frequency that you're currently at, it is amplified out there. But the same thing happens with the lower densities and frequencies. And I'm shown that some of you are in a place where you have reached this timeline. So it's having me jump around. So we've kind of stopped jumping or shifting, collapsing. All of those throughout the January and the beginning of February, that has kind of stopped. And we're in this embrace, embody, expand, elevate. So we're within this elevation and illumination and this levitation. So when you reach your highest timeline that you're available to you in this now moment, it's no more shifting as it's coming to me, it's elevating from here. You're elevating and levitating, and that's how your frequency raises to the point where then you are illuminating the light. And that is your pillar. That is you building that. For some, call it the 12D shield or the Merkaba. It's a 6-pointed star, how I see it. It's surrounded by kind of a honeycomb. And then it's flowed down into the Divine Mother. She kind of hugs it, fills it with her rainbow diamond light. And then each spoke of the star is infused with color. And then it's weaved, woven, and like spokes of light that connect it to the core, a halo at the core of the earth. And then from there, so it's like this boom, 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 boom that happens when you gift your light in surrender and service to the Divine Mother. So you're in the core of the earth. You've given her your star to hug and hold and hug, healing, universally guided. She fills it with her diamond color, rainbow colors. She connects it with her halo that's around the core of the earth. And then it does the same spokes, weaves, woven, and then it connects to the halo that is surrounding the earth. And it might get confusing because the universe is inside you. So this is really happening in the heart, if you think about it. And then from there, your pillar of light goes from the heart all the way up and from the heart all the way down. And so there are these, what started as smaller halos beginning of or middle of January, beginning of February. They were halos of color, and it goes brown. So if you have your heart, you have the core halo that you're connected to, you have the outside halo that you're connected to. Just stay with me, follow along. I hope this is making sense. Once you're connected to that and all your colors are kind of flowing in that halo, then the colors go down and up, and it's brown, magenta, red. So it's the same on the below as above, so below. So it's brown, magenta, red, orange, yellow, lime green, emerald green, pink, hot pink for the high heart. There is serene blue, sky blue, indigo blue, violet, sapphire blue, silver and gold, white and black, and then it just it tortle fields. But that is, the top of that reaches the core of the cosmic heart, and then that tortle field flows all the way down, and then the same rings, halos of light go down into the core of the cosmic field, and that creates this rainbow tortle field running through the core of the earth. And if you place that world, the heart, in your heart, that's what the pillar of light has been shown to me. As these pillars of light come online and you're filling it daily with life force energy, you're connecting through meditation, through your powwows with the Divine Father, Mother, God, you're clearing and cleansing any energy that's no longer serves your highest good. You're transmuting, alchemizing, transcending, whatever those breadcrumbs are for you, whatever those pieces of toast are for you. That is what has brought you here to this moment. And what I'm shown is I may be 6 weeks, 3 months, or 6 months. The information that I'm receiving or telling you now, we're anywhere from 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, 3 months, or 6 months out of the information coming fully into the collective. So this might be piece, this might be a breadcrumb for you. As you hear this information, if it radiates and resonates with you, holding that, taking that breadcrumb and seeing how it plays out for you in the next 6 months. So as these pillars of light come online and they're fully integrated, and you're running that energy up and down, and your colors, your halos are all lit up, then it starts to expand. And in each of those halos will start to expand. And if you have one that's not expanding, that is because there is a blockage in that color, in that halo, for you to see what needs to be done with it. It may be just harmonization. It may need the duality of the feminine and masculine to be balanced. It may be more healing that needs to be done. And then these pillars go on individually, but then they also turn on collectively and universally, cosmically, planetarily. So it just really, you have to look and ask, is this mine? Is this the collective's? Is this work that I'm doing for the universal field, for the Divine Father and Mother? Ask those questions of your higher self, of the Akashic records, to see what needs to be done. And soon you will be at a stage, you've done enough, you'll do the clearings, you will be detached from all lower timelines. And that's who, okay, we're just gonna hug that for a second, because big energy pushing through. We will get to you, I promise. I promise. As those detachments are happening from the lower timelines, full goosebumps. How powerful that is. You will start to see those expansions continue to happen. And once you're detached from the lower timelines, the lower, not even timelines, just dimensions, once you're detached from those fields, there's no going back. You've done the work. You've elevated and levitated yourself beyond those. And with those detachments, with releasing that energy, you are allowing yourself more expansion. You're making room for it. And in that expansion comes more light, more energy, more vibrations, more frequencies, more elevation, expansion, levitation, and illumination. And ultimately, we will get to a point where all of those, everyone will have access to these pillars. Will have access to the halos, and some will spend their time in different halos based on their soul blueprint work that they're meant to do for the new earth. And so as the overwhelming emotion for those who have fully done the work and detached yourself from the planetary fields of the lower vibrations, I receive this overwhelming sense of grief. And this isn't a bad grief. The highest form of love comes in grief. Grief is the highest, one of the highest forms of love. And this is for all those who tried to help another and you couldn't awaken them because that wasn't their journey. This information is coming through to all of those who have cut those cords from their earthly attachments, from material attachments, from emotions. You've placed boundaries. You've done the healing. You've offered forgiveness, as above, so below. Self-forgiveness, forgiveness of another. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. You've done the Ho'oponopono. It's showing me all of these ceremonies, the violet flame, like you have done the work to allow you to embrace, to embody to expand, to elevate, to illuminate your light, which has brought you here to this moment. And this grief of those who you had to leave behind, of those cords and contracts and karma and connections that you had to cut to allow their journey to proceed the way that it is intended, divinely intended. This grief is being amplified. In that amplification, there is so much love that comes with it. But this is also a time, and why we're asked to take this time now to go within, to have that cry, to let it go, to love it, to give compassion. There's compassion, there's empathy, there's anger, because you couldn't help them and they wouldn't listen, and they're not standing next to you right now. This is family and friends, work colleagues, extended families, communities, religion. There's so many of you that have raised your vibration so high that you are unseen to them anymore. You can't even help them to mirror themselves anymore, because you're really a looking glass that you have no access to them. You can only hope by living the life that you live step by step forward and illuminating your light, that you will be the light in the dark for them to follow, but you're no longer attached to their outcome. Grieve that, dance that out, love that, hug that. Go through the grief process, because right now it's amplified, and we want to fill it, that amplification of grief, with love, compassion, empathy, understanding, listening, forgiveness. Do what you got to do, and to know that take the time that you need to take to do that. And you get to choose what you want to amplify. And little by little, day by day, minute by minute, hour by hour, it gets better. And the more that you release that and step further into your light of embracing, embodying, expanding, elevating, and illuminating, the more you to step into that and surrender and service, you will see how it all plays out from a bird's eye view. Oof, that's beautiful. Be the light. Shine your light. Let the light of me shine through you, is what the Divine Father, Mother God is saying right now. There's such reverence in that, and I just want to sit within that energy, and I'm just going to send some Akashic Reiki. And it just pulsates out in waves and waves and waves. just see this circle, this powwow of angels, of our ancestors, our masters, our teachers, our loved ones, just cheering you on, singing the song. I'm shown that healing is a dance. There's forward steps, there's backward steps, there's a side to side. Some you just kind of march in place. There's the electric slide, line dancing. There's spins and turns and curves and flips. And that healing is a dance. And that sometimes you may feel like you are just moving in place or going backwards, or you have a twist and a turn this way. Other things may flip you over. But healing happens that way. There's no straight line. It's a flow. And it's just asking you to continue to dance your dance. Reiki dance is a beautiful way to allow the energy to flow. Dancing barefoot outside. Dancing with your children. Putting on the electric slide. The Akashic slide. What additional information needs to be shared at this time? I'm being told to open up my eyes. I never realized I have this movie kind of playing out, and it's just showing me all the visuals and all the knowledge and knowing, and I just get lost in this movie of what's to come, what we're currently moving through. But I feel like I'm doing it with my eyes open, but I realize that I'm not, and this is probably why I don't normally do. You'll hear my voice. So I'm being asked to share this experience, a couple of experiences with you. Oh, whew. Okay, well, okay. So I'm giving 3 experiences. We'll see how much we can get through, but we're going to go back to the first one. Well, there's so many, but in this cocoon, we're going to go back to the first one. I live horizontally. I have to wear a neck brace. I have small permanent holes and tears in my spinal column and my spinal cord that my CFS fluid, they're called CFS leaks. So the fluid from the cerebral fluid from my spinal cord pours out of my glands and nose and eyes and ears every day. And I have to drain my entire spinal cord before I can get my voice or movement, before my day can truly start. So I start each day with these little breadcrumbs that have now become loaves of bread. But because inflammation cannot live in a body that's energetically grounded. With chronic pain for the last 12 years, and having my spinal drain that happens the minute I stand up. And I usually get about 10 minutes or so before I'm like, major flow is coming. And so in 2022, I was given a breadcrumb that energy a body cannot hold inflammation in a body that's energetically grounded. So I started standing barefoot on the grass. And if you do it at sunrise and sunset, you get the gamma rays, which is like extra universal brownie points. So I would do that until my spinal drain would get really, really bad. And then I would come inside, and then you're sitting still. In the beginning, it was very, very painful. And I would spend the entire 3 to 4 hours in just pain and darkness and dreariness. And my subconscious mind was just gray, not a great place to be. And as color has been brought into my world, and living in color and coloring chronic pain and utilizing color in all of the healing modalities that I do. When 2022 came around and I found barefoot grounding, I had a lot more color in my life. And I had been 2 years into the Feargivness frequency of upcycling my traumas and insecurities. I'd lost about 60 pounds in trauma weight, and life was just, miracles were stacking up upon themselves. And so as I started to stand barefoot outside at that sunrise, I would do it every day, just not understanding the benefit it was giving me. I just knew that I needed to do it. And each day was a little bit of a breadcrumb that grew into toast, that grew into loaves of bread, that I now, it's a lifeline for me. And as I stand barefoot on the grass, I now have 2 feet prints in my grass because I do it all the time. The cats love to come with me. Animals love it. The morning birds, the tree connection. There's just so many connections that have been made since doing that. But ultimately, it came down to taking me from waking up at a pain scale of a 6 or an 8 down to a 2 or a 4. The same thing, breath work does the same thing, but I didn't find that out until a little bit later. So as we 2021, okay, 2021 was the barefoot, 2022 was the breath work. So we've had just years of these beautiful experiences with sunrise and sunset and all these fun things with the cats and birds. We've had eagles and hawks and a seagull, and we don't live by water. Just all these really neat experiences that are happening with barefoot. Traveling is not something that has been on our radar up until the last year, and traveling is very difficult because I need 2 pillows, one in the front, one in the back. I need to be very secured. Motion and vibration affect the spinal cord and affect my ability to stay awake because I will pass out from pain. So this January, I did a solo trip, which is my first solo trip on a plane, second solo trip on a plane, and it was just one way. I was flying from Seattle to Arizona to stay with a friend. And I knew prior to going that I'd receive all of this information of planetary work planetary and galactic work we'd be doing with the stargates, with the Mother Arc Pillar. So I'd been given this whole kind of download. Remembrance. That's another thing. Remembrance. Downloads are it's already within you. It's just activating it, whether it's this lifetime, past lifetimes, ancient wisdom, galactical wisdom, advanced wisdom. It's all within you. You just have to listen. Get quiet and still enough to listen. So anyways, I went to Arizona. I was with a friend. I did the work on the plane and really amplifying that energy out there to all those that were on the plane with me, and really doing this crossover from Seattle, from the Emerald City, which is also a Mother Earth Pillar to Arizona and Phoenix, which is a Mother Earth pillar, and then there are stargates. So I was able to travel to one of the stargates to do the work, and I didn't know what I would be prepared for, but I am told to share this story with you. We were staying at, it's called the Sky Rock uh, Hotel or Resort, and we had got there. It was a Friday night. We watched this beautiful sunset and the sun coming down on the red rocks, and it was just right in front of where we were sitting on this balcony. We got to just watch the sun fall below behind the rocks, and I got to tap into the energy of it and learn more from our galactical families and planetary families about what Sedona was and all the different vortexes and energy, and we just kind of got to map it out. As we were leaving dinner, there was a message that said there was a sound healing that happened every Friday night, and I had never been to a live sound healing. So the friends that I was with decided to do just to rest, and I went over to the sound healing. And so I had my pillow, I laid down on my mat, folded, had this beautiful indigenous blanket that was wrapped over me, and I was right in front of the one of the tables, and it had probably 6 to 8 sound bowls on it. So I laid down, and as it got started, I was just, didn't know what to expect. I was expecting to probably just kind of meditate in the energy. And the minute it got started and I fully connected to the energy, I was vibrating and my whole body was shaking, and my light language going off, and I was trying to contain it because there was other people in the room, and it was just like this otherworldly experience that had occurred during this hour. And at one point, I was in this indigenous drum circle, and at one point, I had fairies all over me, um, and doing this work. And what it was I was asked to, in that moment, make this monumental decision to change the course of my life by giving up my pain body, by surrendering my pain body to the Divine Father, Mother, God. That if I was willing to give up the pain, give up the story, give up everything that has made me me for the last 12 years, that on the other side of that, my life would be unrecognizable. And as I laid there, I'm like, yeah, like I never really thought twice about it. I just surrendered to it. And I kid you not, like I felt like I was levitating off of this mat, off of the floor. And I, at one point, just was the frequencies that were flowing through the room. That when I released the density of pain, and there was this process of going through the cellular memory, and so this was all happening within this 1 hour. It was, ooh, I am supposed to mention that as I was walking to it, and I'm just kind of, when I walk, it's kind of like on my tiptoes so it doesn't vibrate my neck. And I had my pillow, I was kind of hugging, and I kicked or tripped on kind of this rock because I wasn't looking down. And it was a Sedona, it was a red rock. And so I picked it up and I put it in my pocket. I was like, I figured if it came across my path in such a drastic way, because I almost fell, that this rock needed to come with me. So we took it in there, and through this process of surrender, we were taken through the cellular memory of my entire body, and our body keeps score. So we have our cellular memory, we have the muscle memory, our organ store trauma, our muscles and ligaments, and not only does the blood and the water and the fluids we have inside of us, it all keeps score for us. I was connected to the fascia system, which I didn't even understand what that meant. I thought it was something in, like, literally in the face, but it was the fascia system, which is this network of, it's not even a tendon, not even a tissue. It's just this network of weaving and woven that's woven through us. And within this network, it holds frequency and vibration that runs through our entire body. And so I was given this going within to flow through with the sounds and the energy that I was within this room to kind of ride the wave through the fascia system and all the different places it goes and how it connects, and shown how from our feet, just by making the fascia and the somatic um, healing, somatic nervous system, they kind of run coinciding, is what, there's a lot of connection there. So we're taking through the fascia system, and I was taken up through the feet and brought up through the Divine Mother and the red rock, and shown anywhere there's sand used to be water. So in that whole desert area of Arizona, it used to be a tropical water. It gave me the vibes of like Lemuria or Mu, Atlantis. It kind of gave me those Mediterranean vibes of energy that I was feeling. But I was kind of taken in this weightlessness form in the fascia, through the fascia, with the fascia. And I was floating along in the sea, this Mediterranean waters. Um, and all the flowers were just so vibrant. There was so many different fish, and fish that didn't look like anything I'd seen before. And so as we were, each sound bowl and change of frequency and sound within the room would move you along within the fascia system. And it was moving up through the feet, and how it just embraces our ankles and our knees and our legs and back. And it is everywhere. And how this fascia system is key to us decoding, recoding our DNA, our muscle memory, our cellular memory. It is the key to doing it. And then we may do all the work. And that's what it showed me, is so much work had been done, but we had missed out on this fascia system that was really holding those core. And these are all lifetimes. This is down to creation, like the seed of creation, that stardust was this beautiful pearl. It was kind of like a piece of sand that creates a pearl, and the iridescence and the rainbow colors that were coming out of it. So as I surrendered to it, went through this whole process, I just lost track of, I just allowed my body to do whatever I needed to do. And after it was over, the two facilitators, a husband and wife, as I was just kind of like, my whole body was vibrating. I could barely get my shoes back on and get up from the floor. And they had said that they had never experienced someone with so much purity of their energy, and how they were telling me their experience with the energy that I was releasing into the room, and how they ended up feeding off of my energy with the sounds that they make. And so we co-created this beautiful uh, sound healing. And everyone else said, wow, this is the best sound healing I've ever had. And they were letting me know that it was because of this surrender that I was in, and I didn't even know that I was in. Um, and so through that night and the course of the next 3 to 4 days, I was able to really, like, come to terms with what I was being asked to release that day, and then because it was so massive of releasing that pain body, I didn't lose my pain body, but I released it from any hold that it had upon me and allowed the universe to hug me and the healing that was universally guided and give me whatever I needed. And then it was synchronicities over the next few days of everything that fell into place that was all supporting the pain body and the release of it. And through that, and after the integration and fully released and drinking lots of water, and had a mineral bath and just everything that I needed since being home, the daily footsteps, standing barefoot on the ground, I craved it before. And now as I go out there, I am taken in this expansion and this elevation of different places I get to go now that I'm able to I've got over the hurdle of just the pain. When you stand out there just to release pain, you go through this process and it can take 10 to 20 minutes, however long my drain has before have to sit down. And I'm shown that when you allow yourself to release the trauma fully, or just like releasing those earthly attachments to our loved ones in the lower timelines, that you open yourself room for expansion, and that expansion elevates you, and that elevation allows you to illuminate. So it all plays in full circle. That was very There was a grieving process because I didn't know what to do with myself, that when I started to experience pain again. And that's when I was shown that you've released the lifetimes, you've released the stories, you've released it all. Now it's time for you to feel the pain as it comes, feel the grief, feel the sadness, feel the emotions. And now you have the tools of what to do with it. And you're not cluttered by all of the old pain that you had brought into it. You are just dealing with the new pain, the now pain, this moment, and it allows you to be present with it. And then you don't even have to put it aside to deal with it later because you have all this other pain. You get to deal with it right then and there. Love it. Self Reiki, whatever it's needed. And I'm receiving all these beautiful confirmations. Uh, you get to use your toolkit and your treasure chest, and then you don't have to store it. There's no need for you to store it. You get to let it go and flow through it. And that again releases and makes more room for expansion because you get to fill that in with more love and more light and more healing. And I'm shown that we will each have this opportunity to do that and to change your story. And I heard this beautiful message in a TikTok today that if your life was a movie and everyone was watching it, like your friends and family, people all over the world were watching this movie, what would they be screaming at you to do? As they're watching your movie and they've seen all your ups and downs and they've seen your dance through life, what is the one thing they would be like, "Will you just write the book? Will you just tell your story? Will you sing? Will you dance? Will you show your art? Will you read that story to the children?" Whatever that is for you. Will you make the cookbook? Will you post the video? What are they screaming at you to do? And that was pretty powerful. Number 2. Ooh, okay. This one's a big one. It was Super Bowl weekend. I have been okay, there's 2 things to this. Okay, so as we embrace, embody, expand, elevate, and illuminate, as we part of that is embracing and embodying and getting all the questions are within. So if we ask the questions of our higher self and receive the answers from the divine Father, Mother, God, or the Akashic records or your higher self, are you able and willing to follow it? And it comes out in, do you only ask if this is for my highest good when you know the answer? Do you not ask when you know the answer is going to be no, or you know it's not for your highest good? And they're telling me that you will be surprised at if you fully surrender to asking. You will be utterly shocked sometimes is the things that you think they're going to say no, that it's not for your highest good, are actually for your highest good, and why. So some of the things that had come up were whether that's what you eat, what you watch, what you do. Is this for my highest good? For me, I get the pops and clicks. I get the quantum light language that'll tell me a no or yes. And then you flow through the yes. If it tells you a no, if you receive a no, however you do that, whether you're doing your finger locks or you're standing and you're flowing back and forth, whatever your no or yes is, then when you receive a no, they challenged me to ask more questions. So, 2 things to that. If your husband asks you to go out to dinner, or your spouse or your partner, they ask you to go to dinner, you ask, is it for your highest good? And your highest good says no. Would you still go? They ask you to watch a movie and it's a horror movie and you don't like horror movies. Would you still do it? And you know it's not for your highest good because you asked and they told you no. It's those little tiny, not little tiny, but those moments where you are asked and you do what it's telling you is not of your highest good. It's not bad per se. It just kind of changes the outcome for things along the way. So you will be tested right now going forward, and this started at the beginning of February. You will have tests put in front of you for you to see what decisions you are willing to make to fully embrace, to embody, to expand, to elevate, and to illuminate. Are you ready to do that? And it wasn't that, let's go back to the spouse or the going out to dinner, and it wasn't for your highest good. Asking the question, they're saying it's not even a challenge. It's just saying, is it the place that's not for my highest good? Is it the time frame? Is it the day? And you ask those questions to get the clarity, and then you utilize different pathways. So, what is of my highest good? Um, would it better serve me and my spouse if we made dinner together? And what does that look like? Um, is it changing the place? It's not the it's not the act of it, it's the where you were going that needed to change. So that was powerful stepping into February, and that those tests have been coming up constantly. And it's interesting how many times we don't ask when we think we know it's not for our highest good. And they're telling me that you're the one that's setting that. If you had asked if that red velvet cupcake for Valentine's Day was for your highest good, you probably would have got a yes and, the reasons why. Sometimes the yeses are because your inner child needs it. Sometimes the yeses are because you're working through something or you need the density of whatever that is. Sometimes the yeses are you don't really want to do it, but it's for your highest good. So it's pushing you out of your comfort zone. So those ones are impactful too. When you commit to and surrender to utilizing your highest good and to embrace and embody it, asking those questions consistently will expand you to future elevations and higher heights, higher vibrations, higher frequencies. So ask the question. Sometimes it's not the question that you ask, it's how you ask it. So going back to the Divine Father, Mother God, going back to your higher self, or digging deeper in the Akashic records, or just asking, okay, well, what is of my highest good, or how can I best serve thee today, is powerful. So as we went into Super Bowl weekend, I knew I didn't want to watch the Super Bowl, and I know it wasn't of my and so no, I assumed it wasn't for my highest good. And when I asked, "Is this for my highest good, or how do I have best support the Divine Father, Mother on that God on that day?" I was given this massive activation and invocation that I would be doing during the Super Bowl, and that I had to not necessarily watch it, but I had to be present in the moment of the Super Bowl, especially from the halftime show on, and I don't know why that was important. So, that day, standing barefoot outside, uh, without having to deal with the massive pain aspect of it, I was able to spend that spinal drain receiving the codes and keys and colors to this activation that I was going to be doing. And I was freaking blown away. First, we were asked to harmonize this underground system that harnesses energy. And though I had heard about it and I'd heard different aspects of harnessing energy that was done through lower timelines, that the massive amount of people, not only at the stadium in the town of New Orleans, in the state of New Orleans, or in of Louisiana, the massive amount of people that lived around and near, and the extension of the Super Bowl and its reach across the entire world, it was critical that I wasn't the only one. As I tapped into the energy, there were thousands of grid workers, planetary workers, divine mother representatives. This was on all levels: galactical, angelic, celestial. Everyone was on hand, all hands on deck that day for this work to be done. And so I was taken through this harvesting or harnessing energy system. And then I was from coming up from the Divine Mother, and this is why it all comes play all the little breadcrumbs to toast to bread. All the work we did on the stargates and the Mother Arc, and all of the vortexes and wormholes that we harmonized, on all the work that we had done while we were in Arizona and that travel to and from, plus work that we had done in um, we were in Hawaii a few months ago, and then we were in Mexico at another spot for the eclipse. So all the work that we had kind of done, all these breadcrumbs we had put in place over 2024, were all being brought together to use in this moment. So the Divine Mother brought up this aqua light, all this aquamarine light that came up from the ground and filled in all of these uh, harvesting all of these energies to harmonize. But this system went everywhere. And so I can't even tell you how I had to take time later in the days after to really process it because I had no clue, not to the severity of it. Under every amusement park, fair, theater, entertainment center, concert center, uh, the entire like Broadway, all of the theaters in New York, all of the Disneylands, Disney World, every single amusement park and water park in the entire world, every place that two or more gathered. It was not only in stadiums of all sports, there were large religion had there were some to religion. This network of harnessing energy and joy is what, like, have you ever gone to a place and you were just like so excited to go and then you left and you kind of couldn't remember much about it, but you thrived to go back because you wanted that uplift of joy that it created for you, but then your memory was kind of hazy about it. Or you've gone to a concert, theaters, movies, this whole system, this whole network that was destroyed. It was transmuted, alchemized, and transcended, and it was harmonized, was under all of the NFL stadiums and everything that it connected to. Doing that part was massive. And then once that was done, we were able to come up and do that same healing waters of all the waters of the Gulf, all of the waters that came into New Orleans, and we were able to cleanse all that. And then we were able to take and go up into the stadium in all the colors. We had all of those halos. That whole pillar of halo had expanded to harness that, or expanded to encompass and to hug that whole area. We were able to fill in that energy, and we were able to heal, and we were able to harmonize and elevate, illuminate, alchemize for everyone that was there, and then everyone that was watching, and then all the families, all the sound, the halftime show. I was within this activation. I wasn't present for the show, but the work that was done, and I could see all my brothers and sisters of light and all my galactical families and angelic families and celestial families. It was just like every single color of those rings were lit up, and there was uh, a divine beings of light in each one, all categorized to different, they all had a different job. When we came together, we were able to not only do this for that event, we were able to use that event to just elevate, like literally levitate everyone and everything, and then kind of do that cutting of all those lower energies and frequencies and timelines. And that was pretty freaking massive. And that took days of integrating and resting once that was complete. Let me just see if there's anything else from that that needed to be shared. Yeah, the upcycling, changing the colors and changing the narrative that was needed in the realization of what our childhood was like, living in the 3D time period that we were in, and our children's childhood. And it just, that now that's all been harmonized, and those places and spaces are safe to go, and that they're there to amplify the joy, not to harness it or harvest it. So it makes me want to go to those places now to check out the difference. And I live in a town that has a state fair that we had already harmonized for. It used to be a concentration camp years and years ago. So we already knew that there was some bad juju there, but I had no clue that this place that me and my children and I went every single year of my life and their life up until this last 12 years or so had such an impact that that could be done, that could that was done, and now it's not, which was special. Number 3. Can you please share with me what number 3? Okay. So this week, do we have the energy for it? Yes. Okay. This week, when we talk about making more room and we go through the clearing and cleansing process and that barefoot walk that turns into a whole new world, once you can transition and transcend beyond pain, we were taken through this bird's eye view of calling back. We'd done our cleansing, but then we were taken into this calling back of our energy from our soul blueprint and our gestational and ancestral blueprint, calling back that energy and leaving love and light in its place. And so we've been doing this for probably 6 months or so, religiously every single day on a consistent. Before we would open our Akashic records, we would do this process. And since Sedona, what has changed is we're just taken on these massive ones. And a lot of times I don't remember after it because it's just so surrendered and it's not of this world. It feels like you go within and you're in that 0 point and you're just kind of, your mind's blown. And if I was physically present for any of it, I think my mind I think it would be too much for my mental capacity to handle. But this week, and going through it, and all of this may age me, which is fine. We were taken through every place that our physical body has ever been. And you think like there's just not enough time in the day. Well, this moves so quickly, but you kind of you see every face and every place and every memory kind of go through so quickly. But every inner child we've done this ancestrally, and when you do ancestral or gestational, you're doing it for your parents or your family or your family tree. You're not attached. You're not as attached as you were. You're clearing and cleansing and you're calling those fragments back and they're being transmuted and illuminated and transcended through the divine Father, Mother, God. And then that energy is coming back into you and it's flowing back into you and it's finding all of the open space. Well, I was told today or this week that we needed to expand even more. And I'm like, I don't know if there's room. Like, I don't know if I have it in me because our rings our halos have gotten so expansive that we're like out into the galactical galaxy, universal cosmic. And we're interplaying with those energies every single day now. But when I was asked that I needed to expand even further, it was a where's that going to go? How is that going to happen? And so as every inner child stepped up, they brought me through the remembrance of every place that I had been and every place that I had been had left an energetic imprint in that place. And if they lit it all up on a globe, um, you would see every place I've been my entire life. And this is also done on past lives as well, but the one we're focusing on and that's been so magical this week is this one. When you allow yourself, I'm just going to tap in and see if I can streamline this a little bit. Your blueprint awakens and you are taken up into this bird's eye view of your life by every inner child. And they take you through your place of birth, things that you may or may not remember, or you've only been told stories of. They take you through your parents, your family, all the people that you've met, all the places that you were taken. If you were christened or baptized, they take you through that church. You were then taken through um, every place that you were maybe cared for. So whether that was a family member, your grandparents or your aunts and uncles, they take you to you are taken to every friendship you've had, every babysitter you've had, every friend you've met along the way, and you get to kind of see their face and connection, whether that was neighborhood friends, the friends you stayed out, until the streetlights came on. Uh, they took you through all the places you traveled to or visited. You're taken to your, let's say, elementary school, to your kindergarten classroom, your first grade classroom, your second, third, fourth. You go through all the classrooms, all the teachers, all the friends you remember seeing, your gym that you jump rope for life. You'll see like the picture, the movie of that time and where your energy was. I was fascinated by like the cakewalk, which is kind of like musical chairs, and you walk around and step on numbers on the ground until the music stops, and whatever number you're on, you win something of the baked goods. If you did talent shows or singing competitions or choir, if you played in a band or did a musical instrument, you were not only taken through this movie of all these, every place that you had left an energetic connection, whether that was PE and dodgeball or the different things that you played, music, learning how to play the flute was a big one, the little bell ringing things. Um, whether your classroom was in a school or if it was in a portable, or when you went out to recess, the playground, the big toy that you were on, the swings you sing on, those roundy merry-go-rounds, uh, the smell of the grass when it rained as you're walking the track with a friend. You see all the friends' faces of all those years. And so every inner child steps up and takes you through it. You go to your junior high, you go to your high school, you do the same thing. If you went into any weddings, any place. So if you had a paper route, every single house you put a newspaper on, every house you babysat at, every job you ever had. You're getting the drift. It takes you through the streets that you walked upon, the parks that you visited, you rode your bike, the hopscotch in front of your house. It takes you through these joyous moments. And then when you get to your energetic blueprint is everywhere you've ever been. And there are darker moments in there too, but you've at this point have already gone through your trash can multiple times. You've upcycled those traumas and insecurities. You've changed the narrative, changed the colors, offered forgiveness, and you've really done the work. So they no longer are a trigger for you to go back to those places. They're glitter, their gratitude, that it shows you how far you come and you get to stand in that power. And any place that you came across on this review that still had an attachment to you, that you had either more work to do or it needed to be illuminated for you, you now know. Like okay, I need to go back there. I'm not quite how I felt when I saw this place. The colors were not right. So it brought some of those things forward too, of work to be done, of another dance to dance. So it shows you kind of these breadcrumbs of things that you need to work on, as well as going through it. And once you've gone through it, what it did was you acknowledged it and it cleared it from any hold that it had upon you. And so and it left love and gratitude in its place. So it really is cutting the cords. And there was a lot of, as you would get through one area and you're kind of bird's eye viewing over the map and you've gone through your entire neighborhood and every house you've ever been to within all the neighborhoods that surrounded your home, or if you lived in multiple places, the town that you went through, the places that you went to most, movie theaters and restaurants and roads that you drove on when you got your driver's license, places that you may have lived after you moved out of your parents' home, if you went to college, all of that, every place you worked. So then it moved on to your extended education years, or if you went straight into the workforce and went through your entire job history. And it even showed you like favorite days of the work you did, or favorite customers that you had, things that lit you up and that brought you joy. You just got to see all these flashes of all those things. Any adventures you went on, any hikes you went on, any national parks you went to, any oceans, it's literally, if you can just quantify, it's every place you've ever been was brought into this clearing. And it was leaving love and gratitude, waves of love and ripples of gratitude in every single place you've been. So you will forever be imprinted there, but you are no longer carrying those attachments to that memory, which is in the cellular muscle, the fascia. This is really what it is. Anything that fascia is holding, you've now released it and you've now made room for more. And it was so amazing that going through it, not only to see how far you've come and all the beautiful friendships you had along the way and all the faces of all those that you loved or loved to hate, or it showed bullies and it showed everyone you've forgiven. It showed every person or boyfriend or girlfriend that you have crushed, that you have had. And if you flew places, you were taking up to the air and the space in between. If you went into waters and traveling places, all of that is there. If you were born in a foreign country, all of that energy was brought in. And you're just filled. You're just exuding all the energy of the imprints that you have, the legacy of the life that you have danced. Your life's dance up until this moment. And when you cut all those cords and you leave love and gratitude behind, you've now expanded, you've cleared that out, and you are able to expand even more. And that is what we are in right now. We are in the expansion and elevation, levitation and illumination of even more, because there's more to come. There's more to do. There's more to see. There's more to feel. And this really brought me through the grief of all those cords that we had to cut, of our loved ones were, in a sense, leaving behind. And now we are given new purpose to continue forward. It's powerful. And they just keep saying, and there's more to come. You can expand even more. And if you are that energy bank, ooh, wait for it, friends, ooh, brothers and sisters, it gets pretty intense, but very special when you realize what a gift it is to be carrying that energy and frequency for the collective. You're very special, each and every one of you, and just keep going, keep trying, keep expanding, keep embracing, keep embodying. Allow yourself to expand, to learn, to grow. Pick up all of those breadcrumbs, build your toast, bake your loaves, share your loaf. Uh, it's very powerful to speak. I'm almost like emotionally in tears because I've been so silent for this year, and so much has happened, and so many miracles. I can only describe them as miracles that the Divine Father and Mother have continued to put in my path to heal. And I know all those manifestations and visualizations and intentions that are set for 2025 are all playing themselves out and will show up in the divine timing. Like, I know I can feel their energy, but it isn't anything I've had to put effort towards or actions towards. As long as I do follow this path of full surrender and service, uh, and allow myself to embrace, embody, illuminate, or expand, evolve, elevate, illuminate, all those E's and I's. As long as I do that, it's all divinely being orchestrated for me. So if you're feeling like you haven't got where you wanted to be up until this point, just surrender more. Give it all to source, give it all to God, give it all, because that is who is placing those miracles in front of you, who you meet coming across this video, this connection, who is in your collective circle. It's building those communities. It's reaching out to those communities to find where you fit and that frequency match for you, and leaning in to it, embracing it, trusting in the messages you receive. And you may receive the clarity and or confirmations out there while you're on the internet, or if you're on social media. When I was asked to step away from social media in September, I had only been back a few years. So uh, it wasn't a huge thing for me, as it is for some people who it's their life. What it has bridged me to is, in these last few months, is I was asked to turn off both my phone, all of my devices for 24 hours, and to Reiki them and to infuse them with new codes and symbols and colors that I was given. And there wasn't any need or want. There wasn't anything pulling me like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. I have to check this, or I have to do that, because all of these breadcrumbs that I've been gifted over the last 6 months have brought me to a place and a space and a stillness that gave me just a few more extra hours of meditating, or I got to be creative in the kitchen, or I got to pull out and do some of the coloring when my hands allow. Um, I got to try and do other things and be creative and dance a new dance for the day. Like, who doesn't need that? And I can tell you, once I've done that, everything that's come across my notifications on my phone, every connection through my phone and my computer has been divine, has been completely uh, Akashic intelligence. It has blown my mind at the messages and the stuff that are coming through, and the creative aspect of it that's coming through when I'm automatic writing or I'm voice noting, or today was my first go at reconnecting and sharing these messages other than to myself. So, oh, I'm just going to ask if there is anything else from the Divine Father and Mother God that needs to be shared before I close out our powwow today. Making up for lost time. Live in the new world. You are of the new world. You are in the new world. There's no going back. There's only moving forward. And it's asking you to explore your new world. You will still have, though you have no connection to the lower vibrations and timeline, you will still have a transitional period of energy and things coming into your home and space, and you're being asked to bless everything with grace and gratitude. Bless everything. Bless everything that's coming in, that's going out. This is your mail. These are items you've received. If you are if you have any negativity towards, let's say you use Amazon or DoorDash, or you have to, but you hate using, those thoughts are amplified. So change those thoughts into grace and gratitude and blessings. Bless everything that comes in. You can elevate, you can transmute, alchemize, and transcend everything. So even if it's groceries that are coming in, anything that's coming in from the outside world right now until the full transition happens, bless it with grace and gratitude and confirmation. Bless it with grace and gratitude. This is everything that's leaving as well. Your trash that are going out to the trash bins. Every time you flush the toilet or water, you're washing your hands, you're brushing your teeth. Everything that's leaving your life, bless it with grace and gratitude, leaving love and gratitude in its wake. Bless everything coming, bless everything going out. That will continue to keep your space elevated and illuminating. You can do the same with candles, sage, but really, when you light your own pillar, you are transmuting and alchemizing and transcending everything that you can do 3 feet, 6 feet, 8 feet, 80 feet if you want to. But as you are in your space, you are doing that just by tapping into your intuitive channel and lighting up your pillar. And hydrate. Infuse your water with the same grace and gratitude. Infuse it with love and healing and vitality, growth, using quartz crystals and copper, anything that brings purity and elevation to it, expansion to your water. I see jugs of water on a window ledge. Sunlight. Sunlight is huge. Working with your fascia system, starting from the feet up. Somatic healing, fascia system. I'm learning more about it. I don't know. That's a breadcrumb that I'm going to make into some toast, and I will share my loaf when it is ready to bake. But it's very important working from the feet up. Massaging your feet, your toes, because there's all the connections to your organs. Everything's connected through the feet, ears, hands, and face. So massaging your face, opening up your glands. And then there's a morphogenetic field of the 8th through the 15th chakra that are coming online. Massive, major I think I was 6 months ahead. That came through in September, October, November, and now it's coming out. The morphogenetic fields that run the eighth chakra, which is the high heart, the ninth chakra, which is the spinal cord channel, the mouth of God, the breath of God, and then it just kind of works its way out to the morphogenetic fields and up, and it goes 8th through 15th chakras are all coming online. So there'll be more information about that. When the bread is ready to bake, which it is. So I will work on that. I think that's it. I think we have emptied our light into you for right now. Sound chambers. Yeah, drop a comment or question if there's anything you have and you want clarity on or expansion upon, and I'll do my best to connect. And I'm just wrapping you in a big, huge hug. You never know when when I sit down, if it's going to be an activation or if we're doing Reiki or if we're doing a meditation. Today, it was more of a pillow talk, divine messages, and some divine stories, which are really, really cool. I'm glad to be able to share with you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the other side of this rainbow.